All right, good evening, everybody. We're gonna try this again. This time with sound. Commission Ace Coach 704 PEL Live Primetime Elite League. Um, the first time I did this, I went through detailed breakdowns of all the games from week 1 and week 2. But we're just gonna focus on week 2 from the games. We'll go through division previews, and then I'll welcome all of our new people to the league. So let's jump to week 2 games that have been played, and we'll take a look at that action, and then we'll go from there if I can get to the right screen. I just saw some news that was just crazy, and I posted it in the main chat. I don't know if you hadn't seen it yet or not. But anyways, first game, the Bills, myself, defeated the Bears 27-10. You see the game breakdown right there. They had a nice first drive, and then we were able to come back in the second quarter and make some things happen, defensively especially, and then we were able to hold them off for the victory. Forced 4 turnovers. We took care of the football. Struggled a little bit in the red zone. We'll always try to get touchdowns down there, but overall we'll take the victory, of course. Jim Kelly played it real conservative. He had some drops too, but Mitch Trubisky struggled for the second game in a row. 4 interceptions. He had 4 interceptions in week 1 also. I really think the Bears need to look at getting a different quarterback to try to, change their fortunes around. Because I think they got a lot of stuff besides that in Chicago, such as a good running game. Jordan Howard had a nice big run to kind of boost that average up, and then Thompson did a good job overall for us. No big receiving games across the board there, pretty standard. And then defensively, I think Jordan Willis had a good game, 2 sacks. And then we also had the interceptions, 2 for Trey White, 1 for Antoine Wilhite. And then both of those guys, I believe, had defensive touchdowns. Yes, they did. So the defense really earned that victory after the offense did a good job in week 1, putting up 50 points. We moved to 2-0 on the season. And then the Bears fall to 0-2. But, they're still a worthy opponent, and they're still going to make noise coming down the stretch. The Redskins defeated the Titans 17-10. Good played game right there. Only 1 turnover on both sides. We start breaking it down. Crew had a pretty efficient game right there. 12 of 17 for 210. Running the football, Phillip did a good job. Nice efficiency, 5 yards a carry. Corey Davis led the way, receiving 5 for 76. Okay, and I hear myself, so we're good. And then defensively, we've got, let's see here, couple guys with a couple sacks there, and then 2 interceptions right there. So good played game. Good job for the the Redskins getting the win over the Titans. Vikings over the Lions, big 42-13. Vikings with a big first half to take control and then cruise to victory in the second half. Did force 2 turnovers of the Lions, but they really ran the football well. 182 yards rushing. Looking at the player stats, Carter, perfect quarterback rating, 7-9 for 4 touchdowns is awesome. Kaya did all right, but then it looks like he got hurt, and then Rudock had to come in and try to make a comeback effort. Shakur, 162 yards on the ground and a touch. And then Hodges, 4 for 134, 3 touchdowns. That's player of the week consideration. Cannon with 2 big catches in the game, 80-yard touchdown. Good for him. And then defensively, the Vikings had a few sacks right there. And then Reeves Maven with an interception. So good win for the Vikings to go to 2-0 early in the season. Cowboys with the upset of the week, defeating the Giants 34-29 is a crazy first half. But you see second half, the Cowboys are able to make some defensive adjustments and get 13 points in the third quarter to get the big victory. You see the big story right there. 6 turnovers forced by the Cowboys defense. Really good job by the Cowboys getting it done. Davis Webb throwing 5 interceptions. And then rushing the ball, Ezekiel Elliott was the big difference. 201 yards rushing on the ground and 3 touchdowns. Player of the week consideration right there. No big receiving games. And then defensively, it really told the story for the Cowboys getting it done in the second half. Delano Hill, 4 interceptions and 1 for a touchdown. He's definitely got player of the week. status on him for sure. If he doesn't get it, that's highway robbery. But good job for the Cowboys defeating the Giants. Chargers over the Cardinals, 17-14. Well played game on both sides. 2 turnovers each. Deontay was able to get enough to get it done. 219 yards passing for Rivers really stood out. Gordon, 5.7 yards a carry. He's efficient for the Chargers. And then Williams on 101 yards receiving the big game there. Long is going to be a really good rookie receiver to look out for. 4 for 67 and a touchdown. And then defensively, you got the Chargers, 1 sack for Williams, and then 1 sack for a few of the Cardinals guys. Interception-wise, 2 for each. Franks and Payne for the Cardinals, King and Jenkins for the Chargers. So good, well-played game both sides there for you guys. Good job. Both playoff teams from last year. Tale of 2 weeks, Kansas City's defeated by Seattle 24-0 as the Chiefs defeated the Raiders 51-0 in week 1 and then get shut out in the same place they dominated last week. And then you start looking at it, only 74 total yards for the Chiefs and only 16 passing yards. Wow, that Seahawks defense is awesome. Forced 4 turnovers, and the Seahawks played conservative, or this game could have got a little more out of hand, but good job for Ben. Conservative for their quarterback nailed, but he did do enough to win the football game. Mahomes had a tough day. 3 interceptions, only 61 yards passing. Seems to have a good average. You got to feed him a little more. Seattle balanced running attack is what they do best. No big receiving games. And then defensively, Vidal Butler with 3 sacks really led the way. Clark had 2. He's a really good defensive end in his own right. And then the Seahawks forcing all those interceptions. You see those right there. And I believe Darren Lee did have no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about week 1. Zellner did have a defensive touchdown for the Seahawks. Fumble recovery, return for 95 yards. So good effort for the Seahawks to pull that game out. 49ers defeated the Raiders 34-3, and a big first half right there for the 49ers, and they cruise on to the victory. Only 84 total yards for the Raiders, and then the 49ers with 215 yards on the ground, forcing 3 Raider turnovers. And, with Levi, it's pretty much standard stuff right here. Lepsis didn't have to do too much. They did throw 2 touchdown passes. Mannion struggled with 3 interceptions. There's Gratz, the rookie that he took in the first round, and he's already impressing. 20 for 200 and 2 touchdowns is a pretty damn good average right there. Good job there. No big receiving yards really for either side. And then defensively, we got a couple sacks for the 49ers, and then I see someone, Witherspoon, a corner with 3 interceptions. Wow. Good job for him, and he has a defensive touchdown, so that's player of the week consideration right there. So 49ers doing what they do, forcing turnovers and winning football games. Good job. And Raiders, hang in there. You've played, some tough teams with some really good talent. That schedule will balance out. Now, I call the Cowboys over the Giants the upset of the week because the Panthers are a good team, but this was an upset too, to go into Cleveland and to defeat the Super Bowl champs 24-21, and they held the Browns off in the end as they tried to make a comeback, as you can see in the box score. Now you look at it, the biggest thing that sticks out to me is Cleveland only had 161 yards of offense and only 17 rushing yards, which is something you never see from the Browns. That's the Panther defense doing a good job, and they overcame 4 turnovers. Which is really rare. So that really speaks to how well that Panther defense played in this one. And then getting it done in the red zone. 3 offensive touchdowns. And really controlling time of possession, too. With keeping the Cleveland offense off the field. So the Panthers were able to overcome the turnovers and win time of possession, which is really, really good. Cam Newton back at home in Carolina. Like he should have been. That's another story. 21-29 for 260 and 3 touchdowns. Porsche, 9-17 for 158. Both quarterbacks with 2 interceptions. The big story is shutting down the Cleveland run game. That's something you don't see very often. Reinhardt only 18 yards on the ground, and then McCaffrey able to be keeping people honest with 58 yards on the ground. Receiving, Jordan Reed 686 and 2 touchdowns. Getting it done. That's a good job for him. And then defensively, we'll see who stood out. Kuechly and Evans with a sack each. Kuechly playing defensive end. He still managed to get a sack. Okay. And Garrett had a sack for the Panthers. The Browns. And then both guys had a couple of interceptions right there. Do we have any defensive touchdowns? One for Kirksey. He had a fumble return for 50 yards. Okay. So that Panther defense really did a good job overall in pulling that upset victory over the Browns. All right, so those are the games that have been played in week 2. We have some new guys that have joined. You see right there, we have a new Buccaneers owner. Welcome, XDog30. I remember your name in DM, but I had to look at it. But the word is he is a very good player and a good user. So I'm glad for the referral from the Panthers for him. And the way the referrals work is if you got a guy that you refer to the league and he sticks around for a few weeks, then we'll talk on DM about a couple player boosts that will be definitely worth the effort of recruiting. So please take heed. If you know someone, we have 3 openings. We have the Rams, which is the challenge in that division. We have the Ravens, another challenge in that division. And then we have the Texans, who in that division I think it's wide open. So we will give 4 player boosts to anyone new that joins at this point because it is season 6. I don't think it's fair that you would have to come in and play with a roster that hasn't been developed necessarily in the same way as most of us that are here. So that's why we do that. And then of course I'll clear your salary cap, and confidence is pretty much at 50, but I'll reset confidence also since it's only week 2 in the season. And that's the offer that's out there, and some have taken advantage. We also have, the Raiders are new, and that was a referral by the Browns. Thank you for that, and please stick with it. Like I said, that schedule will get easier, and I know you're going to be a competitive player. We have the Chiefs, who blew out the Raiders in week 1 and then got shut out in week 2. We're glad to have you, and that was also a Browns referral. Thank you very much. That's my second PSN on the Rams, if you're curious. I was trying to help them out a little bit with the roster. We had the Packers. Thank you for joining. This was a Daddy Leagues recruit that we got from them, and I'm glad to have him. He's a really nice guy. Talking to him in DM about some things. I think he's going to be a nice asset to the league. Thank you. And he is a Packers fan. He was able to get his team. And thank you to the Lions owner. Gosh, what is your name? I know it because we talk all the damn time. But the former Packers owner, Aaron, there we go, Aaron. He's now the Lions owner. So thank you for switching. Appreciate that. I know the Lions roster was hard to resist. We also have the Bengals. Welcome to the Bengals. He was referred by who? Oh, the Redskins. The Redskins referred to Bengals. We're glad to have him. And I think some of these guys played in another league, and that league is shutting down for this Madden. So we're glad to have you and give you a place to play good sim football. And have all these little amenities that kind of go along with it. So we're glad to have you as well. Also, I forgot the Ravens were open. That I might have mentioned, I don't know. My mind is all over the place right now. Of course, the Broncos joined a little while ago, but I still want to welcome you. I know I welcomed you in the previous show, but we're glad to have you as well. And then, of course, all the guys that have been here, you know how I feel about you. Go back and look at the Owners Award show if you don't. And hopefully, now with some new people coming in, we're able to do an Owners Award show because I don't like necessarily doing it when there's new people and I don't really know them, and I don't want to say anything that might hurt anyone's feelings. So that's where we are with that. All right, so let's take a look at some division previews. Then we'll finish up the show. All right, AFC North, we've got the Steelers. The Steelers are back. They got a forced week 1 when the old Bengals owner left, and I hated to lose him. And I'll say this now. The old Bengals owner, if y'all didn't know, was a former Division I basketball player. He played for Kansas not too long ago. I won't say his name, but he was really cool. He was playing overseas when he didn't get drafted a couple years ago, and he was playing basketball overseas. And I think now he's back over here because the season ended over there, or something worked out to where he was able to come back here. And since he's been back home, he hadn't had as much time to play, so he told me he wouldn't be able to play. But hopefully back next Madden, I will invite him back. I will reach out to him and see if he'll come back and play with us again, because I thought he was a really good guy. But enough on that. So we had the Steelers, of course, who are our favorite, the Browns, who unexpectedly lost tonight, but they, of course, are still a favorite as well, being a Super Bowl champ from last year. And then we have the new Bengals, who, the Bengals were a playoff team last year, so, they have a pretty good roster. We'll see how competitive he is. And then the Ravens are CPU team, and we'll see if we can get someone for them here in the next week or two. On AFC South, of course, we have Cody's Titans, 1-1 on the season. I think they're going to be right there fighting out for the division this year. Colts are 1-0. I think they had a really good draft. They drafted a lot of speed, which is what they like to play their style that they play. I think he got a lot of pieces that are going to contribute in year 1 and help that team out. Jags usually run this division. 0-1 start, but I think he's going to be fine as long as he's able to play and get into a rhythm. He's pretty tough. And a really good, fast defensive roster in Jacksonville is hard to play against. Then the Texans are a CPU team. Hopefully we'll get someone there within the next week or two also. AFC East, yours truly, the Bills, are off to a good start. But this schedule is about to get tough. We got the Browns next week, who are going to be mad. And then I'm going to be mad because we want playoff revenge. And, we'll see what happens. I think that'll probably end up being a game of the week. We'll see if Daddy Leagues decides that or not. The Jets, always tough. He had to take away some time last year. His basketball team that he coaches made a deep playoff run. I need to find out if he won the championship or not. If he did, I do want to congratulate him. The Dolphins, of course, Frank's really tough. He made the AFC divisional playoffs last year along with myself. I'm surprised at that score week 1, but he's making some changes. He's got a lot of new offensive talent I think he's trying to figure out down there. And then once he gets it figured out, he's going to be tough like he always is. And the Patriots, Jeff is back and able to play his games. Of course, y'all know he went through a rough time last season, but we're able to we're glad that he was able to get through that. And he's back and able to play, and he's settled down now, and life is getting back to normal for him. So thank you once again, Jeff, for coming back and playing. You didn't have to, but like I told you in DM, your spot's always welcome here, and definitely appreciate you. All right, AFC West. Chiefs both opposite ends of the spectrum, blowing out the Raiders in week 1 and then getting shut out by the Seahawks in week 2. So we'll see how real they are when they play the Chargers and the Broncos. The Broncos played the Chargers, lost only by 7. So that was a good showing. That shows he can compete with the best. Deontay's the best in the division, for sure. 2-0 start for him. And he's the favorite right now. But I think some new blood was going to push him a little bit. And Raiders, hang in there, man. You played a really talented Chiefs team week 1. You played probably one of the top 5 players in the league in the 49ers in week 2. It's going to get easier. It's not always that tough in here. We got some really good players, but it's not always that tough. There's going to be some balance, and that schedule's going to shake out. And I know you're going to be there and get some wins on the board here real soon. Let's jump to the NFC and NFC North. I think the Vikings are the team to beat here. Off to a 2-0 start with a really good roster. I counted 99 overall players on their roster. And I thought the Browns had the most, or the 49ers. But I'm going to have to double check that. We may look at that before we end the show here and see who has the most 99 players. It definitely ain't me. Packers off to a 1-0 start. Glad to have him. I think he can push the Vikings here in this division. The Bears, like I said, quarterback issues with Trubisky, I think it's holding them back. I know he's a Bears fan in real life, but you might want to look at upgrading that spot or at least trying someone else. And then the Lions, really talented roster. Once Aaron figures it out, he's going to be really tough to stop on offense. I think he's just trying to get adjusted right now. 0-2 start, but I think he's going to be there to challenge as well. NFC South, we just saw the Panthers knock off the Browns. 2-0 start for them on the season. Barely missed the playoffs last year at 10-6. They're going to be a threat. Falcons are always a threat with Jeff. Really talented roster in Atlanta. You know that deep ball is going to always be a threat. And then there's a lot of talent on defense. Saints actually won a division last year, and they won a playoff game. They got to the NFC divisional round before they got knocked out. So, you know, they're a favorite, but I do think they need to upgrade at quarterback. Just looking at some of the stats from their games. They had Russell Wilson last year. He really helped them out, but whoever they got now is not getting it done. So I think they need to look at upgrading that position somehow. And then we talked about the Bucks new user, and I gotta tell y'all, the Bucks CPU did an awesome job with their first two draft picks. They drafted a star corner who is a beast, and then they drafted that defensive tackle, and he is a beast as well. Now he asked for the boost on those two guys, and I think that was a really smart move. But still, Tampa's going to need some help on offense. That's going to be the key. I think defensively, those two guys, of course it takes 11, but those two guys are going to be really, really good. And y'all need to check those rookies out. The CPU did Tampa some favors for sure. And then we got the NFC East. Of course, the Eagles are the favorite here. Really, really tough defensively. They had the best defense in the league last year. And they're on their way once again this year. But you look at the Cowboys and the Redskins. Both of these teams have struggled over the past couple years, but the Cowboys is the old Texans owner who switched over. And this is why I say the AFC is the best conference. Look at this shit. The Texans couldn't win nothing in the AFC, switches over to the AFC, it's 2-0. Ain't that something? That's what I'm talking about. Redskins are also 2-0. Great job for him to start out and get off to a good start. And the surprise here, the Giants are 0-2. And the CPU drafted him a really good receiver to go opposite of Beckham. And I thought that was going to really, really be tough to stop offensively for the Giants. But they're off to a little bit of a struggle, and Davis Webb struggling a little bit at quarterback. Once he gets it down and figures out how to use Moss along with Beckham, they're going to be tough to stop on offense as usual for the Giants. But good to see the Redskins and Cowboys off to a good start. I always like to see teams improve throughout the Madden cycle. The Seahawks, Ben, was this way. He was a really, really, really struggling player back the last couple Maddens, and then he got the Seahawks. He actually won the Super Bowl year one here, and that's perseverance, that's sticking with it. And I always like to see people get a payoff for sticking with it, and the Cowboys especially. You know, he struggled for many seasons, and he's hung in there, and now he's in a spot where he's 2-0, and it's probably the first time he's been 2-0, and I'm proud of you, man. And he went through some stuff this year too. With his life, and he's a little older, and I'm glad you hung in there and you're still here, and definitely appreciate you. And finish up with the NFC West. You got the 49ers, of course, 2-0 with Levi, really talented roster, really good player, almost won the Super Bowl last year. Then he's got these other two guys that they fight it out with every week. The Cardinals at 1-1 are always a threat. They made the playoffs last year. Then the Seahawks, who are normally in the playoffs, had to step away, had some personal things going on. We're all glad those personal things worked out. He's able to play again. Really good defensive player. Like I said, he won the Super Bowl year one in this Madden. These three guys, this is a hell of a division right here to be in. That's why I say if you got the Rams, you got somebody that wants to challenge and think they're really good in Madden, have them join this division with the Rams. My second PSN is on there right now to try to fix that roster a little bit. They have some talent there, but this is the ultimate challenge if you really want to see if you're good. Because these three don't play, and it's a rival when they play each other. But that's what I think about that. All right, so to end the show, I want to look at these rosters, and we're going to see who has the most 99 players. I say 99 players, 99 overall. I've only got 4. And I've been here the whole time, obviously. And I think I know who it is. Let's see. The Browns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that 9 or 10? 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Okay, 9 for the Browns. I don't think the Chargers have 9. Nope, not even close. Okay. Nope, only 3. Nope, it's got 4. Oh, only 4 for Jeff. Thought it would have been more. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 for the 49ers. Okay. Let's see. 2 for the Giants. 2 for the Jags. 1 Jets. Lions might have some. Okay. Oh, only 5 for the Lions. Okay. Who was the other one? Oh, Vikings. Okay. Seahawks might have some. Nope, only 1. Okay. Steelers. 3. Okay. Vikings. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Damn, it's a tie. 9 for the Vikings, 9 for the Browns, 8 for the 49ers. Damn. Ain't that something? I am a Democrat, and, you know, I would believe in some redistricting of funds here. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So you see, this is why we do player boost. Long story short, I'm doing that to say, when you come to the league, I boost 4 of your players because we've been developing guys. We're in season 6, and we started the league for the first 2 seasons with max XP. Because that's, you know, what we like to do. We like to develop teams. We really believe in team building and having long-term ownership. And I believe at least 20 of these guys were here from the beginning. In this Madden that are still here. Oh, the Chiefs. Oh my God, I forgot about them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, thought we had 10. Okay. I forgot the Chiefs were stacked too. The old Chiefs owner did a really good job in building the roster, and he also made a couple trades for some guys there also. And it had some early draft picks in year 1 that got 2 years of that max XP we were doing. So we did the max XP, and then we quickly started to see that in this Madden, the max XP was really, really strong, especially when you hit those development upgrades. And so we dialed it back, and we found that 225 was it's a good percentage. It's not excessive. You have to pick and choose who you want to develop. You can't just develop everybody like it was going with max XP. So you focus train your guys, and then the growth has been good, but it hadn't been outrageous. So going forward, we're always going to stick at 225 for that reason. I think it's pretty balanced that way. We like to see development, but we don't want it to get just a whole team of 99s. So that if you see that, that's a little background into that, why it is the way it is. But going forward, we hope the player boost will help it out a little bit. And then some of these guys will start to age out, and then, they're going to go down, as time goes on. But, that is the live show. We try to keep it to 30 minutes, and we're at 30 minutes. So we do storyline Sundays also, and that's usually a storyline within the league. Sometimes when in the beginning we were making up, some storylines with some players, and it was fun for a while. But then, we try to kind of vary what we do. We'll do power rankings on storyline Sundays. I may go do a playoff show if it's in between live shows and, the playoff race is hot. We'll do it there. And we'll look at stats on the storylines. We'll look at award chases once we get to the second half of the season. We do all kind of stuff like that. The live shows, we really look at reviewing games. We look at the division races, things of that nature. So that gives you a feel of what the shows are here. I posted the incentives package in the chat. If you're really active in posting stuff on Daddy Leagues, mainly articles, it can be articles, it can be stories, it can be highlight videos of your games, but all that stuff counts. If you hit certain benchmarks, you get development boosts for your team and different little rewards too. That's the easiest way to improve your team, is by posting on Daddy Leagues, and you hit that 10 article mark on Daddy Leagues, you get some really nice development upgrades to help develop your team. So, and then we also do some couple other boosts. If you play 15 or more games, you get a free development upgrade. 13 to 14 gets a +2 attribute boost for a player of your choosing on anywhere except speed. Yearly award winners get the +3 boost of attribute anywhere except speed. So we do all those things because I'm about development. I'm about team building, and I don't believe in restricted building. There's some leagues that they don't like XP because they want to keep players grounded, so to speak. And to me, it's kind of like, if you're in a CFM and it's about improving your team consistently, why make it where it's so restrictive? I've never felt that way. Also, we don't have a trade committee. I believe that owners should make their own decisions. And at this point, we haven't had many trades. People pretty much have their rosters the way they want them. But for the new guys, I know you're looking to improve your roster. Trades are encouraged. 2 in the regular season, and then in the off season you get 2 as well. There's no trade limits during the draft. We just had a draft. I hate that some of you guys missed that. But we are pretty relaxed as far as anything else outside of gameplay goes. This position changes and stuff, those are pretty standard for sim leagues. But the biggest thing with me is, if you have any questions, just ask me in DM. I don't like taking a lot of public discussion because I'm just old school that way. I coached football for 14 years on the high school level, and I just believe in talking man to man. When you got issues, that's the way, men should talk. You don't go in public and, air all your dirty laundry. That just ain't right. So, as long as you handle things in DM with me, you play sim, we ain't gonna have any problems. But that's the live show for this week. We'll see you on Storylines on Sunday. We'll probably be ready to do power rankings at that point, so we'll have power rankings ready to go on Storyline Sunday. All right, thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it.